Hey guys, Mr. T here, just doing another quick solutions video for the 2022 General Mathematics exam. I'm going to try to speed run this one because I don't have much time before the holiday session. So, question 1. Arjun, okay, let's Mr. Worldwide here, international, has 20 grand, invest for 3 years, flat rate, compounding quarterly. What's the effective rate for each account? Correct to 2 decimal points. So for the simple interest one, the flat rate one, we need to do a simple interest calculation, 20 grand times by the flat rate as a decimal, times by the number of years, 20,000 times by 0.0293 times by 3. So that's how much you would grow by. So now we can plug it into a compound interest situation. Interest rate is what we're solving for. PV is the 20 grand plus the 1758. PV is what you invested in the first place, so negative 20,000. No payments, you're just letting it grow by simple interest. FV is what it grows to, so that's the 21,758. PY and CY, it's per annum, so it's 1. So apps finance TVM 3, negative 20 grand, 21,758. Alpha enter, that's 2.85 to 2 decimal points. So account A is 2.85% per annum. Account B is compounding interest, so we need to find the effective. Apps, finance, EFF, the nominal is 2.82, compounding quarterly, so 4 times a year, 2.85% per annum as well, 2 decimal points. Arjun decides that he will invest his 20 grand in a third savings account that earns 3.1% per annum, compounding weekly, deposit 50 into the account each week, show that the balance will be 30,100 and is going to be 3 years times by 52, 156. Interest rate is 3.1. PV, he puts 20 grand in. PMT, he's putting $50 in each week. FV is what we're solving for. We're not solving for the interest rate. We'll put a star there. FV is equal to something. PY and CY. Account paid each week, and it's compounding weekly, so 52. Apps, finance, TVM. 3 times 52, let's just double check. 156, 3.1. Negative 20 grand. Now there's extra payments. We need to change the compounding and payments. Alpha 3120.29 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, approximately 30,100 after 3 years. At the start of the investment period, Arjun sees a car valued at $29,000. He expects that inflation will average 2.5% per annum over the next 3 years. Calculate the indexed value. Indexed value equals the original value, 29,000 times by 1 plus the inflation rate as a decimal to the power of the number of years. Second quit, 1.025 to the power of 3 is a number, times by 29,000 is another number, $31,229.83 to 2 decimal points. Taking inflation into account, how much extra will Arjun need to contribute to account C each week in order to have enough money to buy the car in 3 years' time? So we're going to this same account again. It's going to take 3 years. The interest rate is still 3.1. He's still putting 20 grand in there. We don't know what the payments are going to be. That's what we're trying to find out. We want, considering inflation, it to go to $31,229.83. PY and CY are both 52 because it's weekly. Apps, finance, TVM 156, 31,229.83, 52.52, alpha. Enter, negative $56.79 to 2 decimal points. Taking for how much extra, so we need to work out the extra there for. It was 50 before, $6.79 extra. Page 2, done. State one factor other than the effects of inflation that Arjun must consider when implementing savings plan. Explain its impact. 2 marks, so you need 2 statements at least. Changing interest rates. If they reduce, it will take longer to save the money. SACE likes to say except for interest rates, so that might not be an option in your exam, I don't know, but that's one that comes up here. Maintaining income if life events occur, reducing ability to deposit, will take longer to save the money. What else is there? World events. Just chucking things out there, world events. It's just being topical because stuff like this is happening right now. Might increase demand for his car, causing price to increase, therefore take longer to save. So that's always a problem if you're saving up for something. On top of inflation, if the price changes, you've planned to save for a certain amount with your deposits, that might not work anymore. Page 3, done. Question 2, Company X proposes a contract. The time's needed in weeks. It's in weeks. I'd like to highlight that. Oh, carry out forward and backward scan. One way 4, one way 2, one way 9. 3 ways. 4 plus 4 is 8. 2 plus 3 is 5. 9 plus 0 is 9. One way here is 5. 2 ways here. 5 and 7 is 12. 9 and 3 is also 12. 9 and 10 is 19. 12 plus 8 is 20. Carry out forward scan, done. 20 take 8 is 12. 12 take 3 is 9. There's 2 ways into this node here. 9 take 0 is 9. 20 take 10 is 10. 9 take 3 is 6. 12 take 7 is 5. 5 take 1 is 4. 9 take 4 is 5. 4 take 4 is nothing. 6 take 2 is 4. That is done. State the critical path or paths for the networks above. SACE seems to like to do this to indicate that there might be multiple paths. No slack, no slack, no slack, no slack, no slack. Through the dummy link, no slack, no slack through K. State the critical paths. A, D, H, K is the most obvious one, and C, J, K, because C is that dummy link up to the 9 and 9 one. The company claims that allocating extra resources to task G will reduce the minimum completion time for the project. State why this claim is incorrect. Because G is not on the critical path. No one cares if it goes faster. Calculate the slack time for task E. E is 5 and 4. 5 take 4 is equal to 1. Week slack time. List all tasks that must be completed before task J can be started. Well, you have A and E along the top, B and F, and C. A, E, B, F, and C. That's page 4 done. Company Y presents an alternative proposal to renovate the aged care home. State how long it takes to complete task P. We don't have that information, so let's do a forward and backward scan. 0 plus something is equal to 3. It's 3. 0 plus something is equal to 4. This is going to be 3 plus nothing. It's going to be smaller than this, so this must be 4. 4 plus, we don't know how long these take. We don't know which of these options it is here. So leave that. 10 plus 4 is 14. 14 plus 7 is, 14 plus 3 is 17. There's multiple ways here. We don't know what this is, doing a forward scan, but we can tell from the backwards. 23 take something is equal to 18. That's 5. 23 take something is equal to 14. That's 9. So in the backward scan, 18 take 3 is going to be 15. 14 take 4 is 10. 10 take 5 is 5. 10 take 7 is 3. 5 take 0 is 5 along the dummy link. 5 take 4 is 1. 3 take 3 is 0. State how long it takes to complete task P. 7 weeks. State how long it takes to complete task Q. 5 weeks. State the latest starting time for task S. 15 weeks. By allocating extra resources to one task, it is possible to reduce the completion time of company's Y proposal to be the same as the minimum completion time for company X's. So we need a reduction of 3. State the task and the reduction in time required to make this possible. The only definite one is R, because that's the only thing that must be on the critical path. Reduce task R by 3 weeks. Justify your answer to part G1. Well, P okay. The critical path is here, MPRU. MPRU. So, justify answer to part G. Changing M or P or U might alter the critical path to a time longer than 20 weeks. R is on the critical path and not an optional task. So reducing it by 3 reduces whole duration by 3. Does that make sense? So if I reduce any of these, let's say I reduced this by 3, that's going to be 4 now. Well, suddenly 4 plus 5, this is going to be the critical path now, 9. 9 plus 4, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, okay? If we alter the critical path when there's an option to go another way, that other way might be longer, forming another critical path that doesn't result in the 20 finished that we want. Whereas it's guaranteed if I reduce this, because this is the only way to get from this side of the pathway to this side, if I reduce this by 3, then the overall is going to be reduced by 3. Page 5 done. Question 3, a company manufactures scented candles. The burning time of vanilla scented candles is normally distributed mean 252, standard deviation of 20. They say that they sell vanilla scented candles that burn for at least 238 minutes. What's the probability they have a burning time of less than 238 minutes? Probability, so normal CDF. Less than, so we want negative infinity as the lower. 238 is the high end of this. My mean is 252. My standard deviation is 20. Oh no! Don't tell me I'm gonna lose time because this froze. Okay, start over. I need to close Chrome. Close Chrome. Open it again. That sucks. Lost time because the calculator froze. So long speed run. Second, vase, normal CDF, negative E99 is already there. 238, 252, 20, paste, 0.24, 1. That doesn't round. I'm doing to 4 decimal points, so 4 dp, 2420, therefore 24.20% probability. Wow, that's quite a high chance of it being being below their claim. It doesn't. The question's not asking you about that. On one day, the company makes $5,000 vanilla scented candles. Calculate how many of these candles we expect to have a burning time less than. So we've got the probability already there. Times by the 5,000 candles. 1210 candles. The company expects to receive complaints from customers who have purchased candles with the shortest 10% burning time. So shortest 10% burning time, the tail is on the left. So if you have an old calculator, you're just going to go 0.1, 252, 20. Inverse normal, 0.1, 252, 20. 226.37, 2 decimal points. If you've got a new calculator, then you would type in norm or 0.1, 252, 20. You must say it's left because you have the option to do that, which is what I just did on the calculator. It's going to be 226.37. What the heck? 0.37 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, 226.37 minutes. Maximum burning time for a customer that's whinging about it. The company also manufactures rose-scented candles with a burning time that's normally distributed with a mean of 245, standard deviation 25. The company claims that a greater proportion of rose-scented candles will burn longer than 300 minutes compared to the vanilla-scented candles. So, let's do rose, normal CDF, greater proportion, so we're finding the percentage. So normal CDF, burn longer than 300, so 300 are lower, E99 is our upper, we have a mean of 245, standard deviation of 25 is something, and vanilla was normal CDF, 300 E99 again, but it was 252 and 20 from the calculator. So, second, vase, normal CDF, 300, second, E99, 245, 25, 0.0139 to 4dp. Next, 252, 20, 0.0082 to 4dp. Therefore, claim is accurate as 1.39% of rose candles burn more than 300, is it minutes? Minutes versus 0.82% of vanilla. The third variety of candles is manufactured lavender, normally distributed 245, standard deviation 20, probably distributions for the burning time of vanilla, lavender, and rose. Using the info, identify the probability distribution, indicate your answers. Rose and lavender have the same same means, but rose has a standard deviation of 25, lavender has a standard deviation of 20, so it's going to be taller. So lavender, and A, the solid line is rose, and therefore process of elimination, the leftover must be vanilla, and you can see it's centered over 252. Explain why the maximum height of probability distribution A is lower than both probability distributions B and C, considering the properties. A has a larger ST dev of 25 minutes. It must have a lower height so that the area under the curve is the same as B and C. That's why it needs to get it has to have a lower height. Rose has to have a lower height because it's got a wider standard deviation, so it's a bit thicker, like the kids would say these days, so it has to be a little shorter and stumpier. Question 4, the table below shows the length of time in minutes that it takes for 4 children to complete chores. Which statement below is correct for interpretation of 19, the time in minutes? Bobby takes 19 days. Bobby is useless in that case, but that's not the answer. 19 pieces of laundry, no, it's about minutes. Folding laundry takes Bobby 19 minutes is the answer. Based on the information above, which child is fast to complete the dusting as a weekly chore? Dusting column, look for the smallest number, Joe. Calculate the total time it would take Kelly to complete all 4 weekly chores. Kelly, 23, 17, 20, 16. 23, 17, 20, 16. 76 minutes. Apply the Hungarian algorithm to minimize. So Hungarian algorithm by default minimizes. Just going to have a coffee. So smallest number in the row, 16. Smallest, 16. Smallest, 18. Smallest, 15. New matrix. 16, 23, 7, 1, 4, 0. 11, 5, 8, 0, 7, 1, 3, 0, 10, 3, 7, 0. Columns, take 7, take 1, take 3, take nothing, 0, 4, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 2, 1, 5, 0, 4, and 0, 0, 0, 0. Lines, let's do our noughts and crosses. 1 with 4, 4, 3, that's 3 lines. So I'm not done yet. Smallest uncovered number is 2. Leave single covered, leave, 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 add, take, leave, 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 add, take, leave. Noughts and crosses again, 3. What the heck? What am I doing? This, I need to check it as I go. I should have left that. So that would be 1. Let's check this again. 2, 2, 3, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2. Yeah, I must have had a stroke just then. 3, 3, 2, 2, because leaving 1 doesn't make a 0. Cover the zeros, or select the zeros. Row and column, no. Row and column, no. Row, yes. Row, column, no. Row, column, no. Row, column, yes. Now, we have to do process of elimination. The only way that we're going to do this row is from this column, because this column doesn't have any zeros there. So select, and process of elimination, that's the last left to select. To minimize, show the results of each step clearly. So go back to here. Kelly, Paula, Bobby, Joe. Kelly, Paula, Bobby, Joe. What were the chores? Iron, fold, vacuum, dust. Show the result. Apply the Hungarian algorithm given below to minimize the total time. That's what I've done. Fill in the spaces below to complete your interpretation of solution in part D. Kelly does ironing. Paula does dusting. Bobby does vacuuming. Joe does folding. The minimum total time. 23, 18, 21, 16. 23 plus 18 plus 21 plus 16. Is that correct? 23, 18, 21, 16. 23 plus 18 plus 21 plus 16. 78 minutes. 78 minutes. Page 9 done. The children's father offers to do one of the weekly chores. As a result of this change, a new initial array has been produced. As you can see below, statewide dummy column of zeros must be added to the right of the dusting column in order. Hungarian algorithm only works on square matrices. So I might as well add the Hungarian algorithm has been applied and it does it for you. That's a cop-out. State the member of the household who will not be allocated a weekly chore. Okay, cover the zeros. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who doesn't get a chore? Alone in its row. Alone in its column. The only way this one's going to be done is this column here, because this is the only other person that could do it. So selected. So this one's a heavy process of elimination one. Only column to select, but the only way this row is going to be done is by him. I think. No, the other way around. The only way this row is going to be done is in this column by this. So the last one to select is there. So the member of the household that doesn't get a chore. So the no chore is the dummy column on the right hand side. Who was that? The second one down, that's Paula. Paula has no chore. State 2 limitations of using the algorithm to allocate weekly chores in the context. We assume chores cannot be done simultaneously. What else? Assume we only care about speed. 2 marks, 2 points. Page 10 done. Question 5. Keisha took out a home loan of 650 grand for 20 years. Interest rate 2.88, compounding monthly. What's the payment? N. 20 times monthly 12 is going to be 240. Interest rate is 2.88. PV is 650 grand. Solving for PMT. FV at the end of the line is nothing. PY and CY both 12. Ups, finance, TVM 240, 2.88, 650,000, 12 and 12. Alpha, enter. Negative 3565.96 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, approx 3570. Calculate the total interest charged over the 20 years. Interest is equal to 240 payments of $3,565.96 minus 650,000. Take the 0. 240 times by 3565.96 minus 650 grand. $205,830.40 in interest. After 5 years, Keisha's balance was reduced to $520,700. Interest rate increases to 3.6 per annum, compounded monthly. If she maintains the repayments, calculate how much longer it will take her to repay the loan compared to the original. So N is what we're solving for. We are also working out how much longer, not how long. Interest rate is now 3.6. PV, we are told, is 520,700. PMT is what it used to be, which was negative $3,565.96. She's going to pay off the remaining loan to 0, PY and CY. Both 12 apps finance TVM 3.6, 520,700, negative $3,565.96. Alpha enter 192.41 to 2DP. So we were told this happened after 5 years. So 5 years is 60 months plus the 192.41. 60 plus 192.41. So the loan is now going to take 252.41 months. It was originally going to take 240, so how much longer? 252.41 minus 240, 12.41 months. Calculate how much longer, it doesn't say what units, so 12.41 months longer. However, at this time, Keisha deposits a lump sum payment into the loan. Calculate the size of the lump sum payment needed in order to repay the loan in the remaining 15 years. This is tricky. This is a cool kind of question. I want to pay it in 15 years. 15 times 12 is 180. The interest rate is still 3.6 PV. To work out the size of the lump sum taken off of this, we need to know what the debt needs to be to make it take 180. So PV is what we're going to solve for. PMT is assuming the negative 3565.96. I want to owe nothing at the end of the loan. PY and CY are both 12. Apps, finance, TVM. I want it to take 15 years. I want to know what amount of debt it would be. I would need it to be, to achieve it there, 495,407.50 to 2 decimal points. So we know that at the interest rate increase, it started at 520,700. We want it to take 180 months if you've done a lump sum. So to achieve the 180 months, I need the debt to be $495,407.50. 520,700 minus 495,407.5. There's a $25,292.50 difference. Therefore, lump sum of $25,292.50 required. Well, that's a cool question. I like that one. Page 11 is done. Question 6. Table below shows observations of the area. I need to find the equation, so I need to enter data. 1980, 1985, 1990, 1995, 2000, 2005, 2005, 2010, 2015, 2020. 7.54, 6.49, 6.04, 5.76, so it's decreasing, 5.32, 4.62, 4.43, 3.82. State the equation for the linear model using correct variables. The year, the area is S, something times by D So stat, calc, linreg. Ooh, couldn't handle it. Did I put something in wrong? Oh, yes, I put something in wrong. 6.49, 6.045, 6.03. Farewell to the speed run, I think. 5.32, 4.62, 4.43, 3.82. So this is Mr. T being a hypocrite and not crossing the numbers off as he goes. There we go. So negative 0.0. Didn't give myself enough space. 82D plus 169.628, all rounded to 3 decimal points. Complete the statements. The numerical value of Pearson's correlation coefficient. Okay, I don't have the numbers. I need to turn diagnostics on. Scroll down to diagnostics on. Enter, enter. I did not want a quad reg. I'm fumbling because I'm rushing now. The numerical value of Pearson's correlation is negative 0.9794. That's to 4 decimal points. This suggests that as the time year of OBS increases, the area of Arctic sea ice will decrease. Why? Because it's negative. That looks terrible. Of Arctic sea ice will decrease by 0.082. What is the units? Million kilometers squared. Table below gives the residual values for the linear model. There's one missing. Okay, so I've done the lin reg. Now I can go start, edit, column 3, second stat for list, resid, fill it in. So I've got 0.338, negative 0.30, they didn't round properly, negative 0.341, 0.059. This is 0.199. Check the other ones, 169.121. They didn't round properly, 0.0. Wow, talk about safes being inconsistent. Calculate the value of A, 0.199. On the residual plot the point A. That was at 2000, 0.199, so it's going to be slightly below 0.2. Using the equation from part A, predict the year of observation. Let me copy and paste my equation. You would have to write it down. Using the equation, predict the year of observation when the area of Arctic sea ice will be 1 million. 1 million kilometers. Now, remember these units were already in millions, so 1 million is going to be 1 is the area, negative 0.082 times by the D, which I don't know, plus 169.628. Opposite of adding 169.628 is taking, so 1 take 169.628 is negative 168.628 equal negative 0.082D. 0.82D. Opposite of timesing by negative 0.082 is dividing by negative 0.082 on both sides. D is going to be negative 0.082, 2056.44 to 2 decimal points. Predict the year, so it's going to be therefore in 2056. Discuss the reliability of the prediction made in part D. Give 2 reasons for your answer. 2056 is a ridiculous explanation. This is unreliable because. 2 marks, 2 points. It is significant extrapolation plus 30 years. What else? Humans are terrible, and factors affecting global sea ice, like pollution, won't stay the same. So area won't decrease linearly. You're making this prediction based on stagnant data, but the pollution's getting worse and worse, so the area is going to get smaller faster. That's 2 points. Question 7. The Flamingo Mask Company has identified 9 activities that take place when manufacturing its mask. Have some coffee. These are listed. The following network diagram has been produced. Fill in the boxes to indicate where tasks D and E should be placed. Well, this task has a prerequisite of B. What's the only thing that has a prerequisite of B? Well, E requires B as well. Yeah, well, that's D and E. Okay. They're trying to trick you because you might accidentally put D and E in the wrong order, so you need to look further. What is the only thing that requires... What requires D? Let's say this was D. What requires D? G and H through a dummy link. So that wouldn't... Would that work? If this was D... H is getting both this task and this task. G is only getting this one. G only requires D, so that's how it's going to work. Let's double check. G only requires D, which is what we see here. So this must be D. H requires both D and E. H gets E directly and D through the dummy link. And does that follow the rule? What is the shared prerequisite? D. Where does the dummy link go? From the end of the shared prerequisite to the start of the task with the other prerequisite, which is H. That fits. On the network diagram above, which we did, explain why the dummy link marked X is required. X is needed because why is it needed? Because C and D both require B, but only not just C and D, C, D, and E. And that's not going to be both then, because C, D, and E all require B, but only C needs A. Only C needs A. If the dummy link was not present, this node would be placed here. A and B would be connected going into the start of C, which is what C requires, but then if those two were connected, D and E would all also require B and A, which is not the case. It only requires B. If the dummy link was not present, the node at start of D and E and C would be one node, meaning C has correct prereqs of A and B, but D and E would also have A and B prereqs, which is wrong. They don't need A. Okay? Page 14 done. Which option below correctly identifies the critical path and minimum completion time for this project? Got a bunch of options. We need something that leads to 19. Okay, let's do the work. 5, 6, C is 4, D is 3, E is 6, F is 3, G is 3, H is 5, J is 2. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's too short. 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 19 through B, E, H, J. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That doesn't equal 19. B, E, H, J is the answer. Which of the following statements are correct? Tick the appropriate boxes to indicate your answers. Task J will always be on the critical path because it takes the shortest. That's wrong. We want the longest. Task A has no slack time. So 19, take 2, 17. 17, 14, 14, take 4, 10. 10, take 0, 10. 2, 19, 17, 12, 6, 6. So if we had 19, 17 is the LST, 14 is LST, 10 is the LST, 10 take 5. You're going to have an LST for A of 5, so there's going to be slack time. A has slack time, so that's wrong. Task J will always be on the critical path because it's the only task leading to the end of the network. That is a true statement. Dummy link Y takes more time to complete. Dummy links have no time, so that's wrong. A delay in the completion task J will always increase the completion. Yes, because it's on the critical path. Those two ticks are related to each other. Page 15 done. Question 8. Last two to go. How are we doing for time? I think it's been an hour. Olivia is interested in purchasing a small apartment. 280 grand. Oh, she wants to borrow 280,000 for 15. Her advisor suggested following options: 3.8, compounding fortnightly, establishment fee 1,500, service fee 15, 4.25, compounding, no additional charges. Calculate the comparison rate for option A. So find PMT is the first step. N is going to be 15 years fortnightly, 390 interest rate is 3.89%. PV is equal to the 280 grand plus the 1,500 establishment fee, so 281,500. PMT is what we're solving for. I want to owe nothing at the end of the loan. PY and CY are both 26. 281,500 alpha, enter, negative 953.27 to 2 decimal points. Find rate is the last step. So we go back to the OG principal, 280,000. But that is considering the payments of $953.27 and a further 15 on top of that. So negative 953.27, take 15. Negative $968.27. FV equals 0. PY, CY both 26. 280,000 solve for the rate. 4.2 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, 4.2% per annum for option A. Which statement below most accurately describes the best option for Olivia? Tick the appropriate box to indicate your answer. Option B is best as there's no additional charges. We want most accurate. That's kind of true. Option A is the best as 3 point. That's not the effective rate, so no. Option A is the best as the lowest comparison rate. That's looking pretty good because it's 4.25. That is the comparison rate because there's no charges on option B. Option B is best as the highest. We don't want a high rate for a loan. Option B is the best as has the lowest. It doesn't have the lowest because 4.2 is lower. Option A is the best. Olivia chooses a different option where she'll pay a deposit of 50 grand and take out a loan for the remaining balance. So weekly repayments will be $396 for 15 years. Show the interest rate charged on this loan is approximately 4.1%. So N, 15 years times bi-weekly, 52 is 780. We're finding the interest rate. PV is going to be, so she was taking out 280,000, but now she's paying a deposit of 50,000. Take 50 grand is 230,000. PMT. Regular repayments we've been told are 396. You want to owe nothing at the end of the loan. PY and CY. She's paying weekly. Compounding weekly, so 52, negative 396. What's the interest rate? Alpha, enter, 4.14 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, 4.14 is approx 4.1% per annum. Page 16 done. Calculate the time it will take for the balance of the loan to reach approximately half of its principal value time. So solving for n, interest rate was 4.14, PV was 230,000, PMT was the negative 396. We're being asked how long it'll take to reach half, so negative 115,000. Negative because it's still a debt. PY and CY, both 52. 4.14, 230,000, negative 115,000. Alpha solve. So n is 449.50 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, calculate the time, doesn't say what units, so therefore 449.50 weeks. When the balance of the loan is reduced to 115,000, Olivia receives an inheritance to pay off the loan in full. She's got a couple of options. Repay the loan in full immediately with an additional early repayment charge of 11% of the current. Refinance the loan for 6 years with interest charged weekly at 3.5% per annum, compounding weekly, no additional charge. Calculate the cost of the early repayment charge. Well, you've been told it's 11%, so 0.11 times by the remaining balance, which is 115,000. That's 12650 charge. Calculate the total interest that Olivia will be charged if she chooses option Y. So N, 6 years, 52 payments per year. 6 times 52 is 312. Interest rate is now 3.5 PV. She's refinanced the remainder of her loan, 115,000 PMT. To find the total interest, we need to know how much she's being charged per week. FB0, PY, and CY are both 52. Compounding weekly, interest charged weekly. Okay, 3.5, 115,000. Don't know the payments. Negative $408.77, 2 decimal points. Therefore, interest is going to be 312 payments of $408.77 minus 115,000. Take nothing. 312 times 408.77. Take 115 grand. $12,536.24. Interest. Olivia chooses option Y and deposits in the offset account linked to option Y. State 2 reasons to explain why this is a reasonable decision. Option Y was cheaper than option X in the first place. If she had to pay interest, it's only going to cost her that much in interest versus how much she's being charged up front to pay the loan in full. And 2, the full offset means she would pay no interest on the loan. at all. Right? So it's not going to cost her anything in interest versus getting paid the full charge. She's better off by that much doing that. Okay? Question 9, last question. After medication V is administered in the bloodstream, the concentration, regression equation. Why is the linear model not appropriate? There is a clear U shape in the residual plot. Therefore, linear model not appropriate. What else? Square root of 0.807 equals 0.8983 to 4 decimal points. Therefore, R is 0.8983, which is only a strong correlation if linear is assumed. Also, the residuals are quite large. For the data values, therefore linear model again not appropriate. 3 points. Remember, 2 marks there, so just make 2 points. The equation for the exponential model was found to be this. Which statement below provides the complete interpretation of the value B in the context of the question? Concentration increases, no. 0.89 is less than 1. So 1 take 0.89 is going to be like 11% reduction. This is decreasing, not increasing, so no. The concentration of medication V increases. We already said it was decreasing. It doesn't decrease by 89, it decreases by 11%. State why the value of A in the exponential model is an underestimate of the original data. Well, A suggests the starting concentration is 962 micrograms per liter, I believe. Micrograms per milliliter, sorry. But the actual concentration was, what was it? It started off at 1,000 micrograms per milliliter. Using the exponential model, what's the concentration in the bloodstream 24 hours after medication? Concentration is equal to 962 times by 0.89 to the power of 24. 0.89 to the power of 24 times that by 962, we have 58.6861 to 4 decimal points. Doesn't say what to round it to, so I'll leave it at that. Therefore, 58.6861 micrograms per milliliter after 24 hours. Calculate the time taken for the concentration to reduce to 481. So general maths, you need to graph it. Y1 is going to be at 481. Y2 is going to be the model, 962 times by 0.89 to the power of t. Graph and intersect at Y1, 481, y2, 962 times by 0.89 to the power of x. Graph, you're not going to see it. Zoom out again, zoom out. The intersect is definitely there. Intersect, first curve, second curve, guess. 5.9480, comma 481 rounded to 4 dp. Therefore 5.9480 hours to reach 481 micrograms per milliliter. A rival company produces a generic version. The equation for that is given. Calculate the time taken. So we've got a new model. We're working out how long it takes to reach that again. So y1 is equal to 481. y2 is the new model, 970 times by 0.75 to the power of, it's going to be to the power of x in the calculator. Graph and intersect at 970. So it starts off higher, I think. Was it higher? Yeah, higher. But it decreases more savagely. 0.75 to the power of x. Ooh, graph it. Second trace, intersect at 2.4382, comma 481 to 4 dp. Therefore 2.4382 hours to reach 481 micrograms per milliliter. With reference to the parameters in the model, explain why there is a difference in time taken. Why is there a difference in time? Well, because concentration begins at a different level. What was it? 962 versus 970. Why else? Concentration of V decreases. This is W we're talking about here. V is this one. That's the one that reduces by 11%, decreases 11% per hour versus 25% per hour for W. Therefore, W will reach 481 faster, even though it started at a slightly higher level because it decreases at over double the rate of decrease in V, 25% versus 11%. Okay, 2 marks, probably went overboard with that answer, but I don't know, a bit delirious right now. So is that the last? Page 20 done, no more questions here. So that's the 2022 exam. Hopefully that helps you out. And I'll see you in the next video.